Yeah, I got some good hair this morning. There we go. I think that's working. Oh, I'm using this microphone today instead of my other ones. What's going on here? Maybe I should have combed my hair this morning. But how's everyone doing, man? Whew. Man, it's the weekend. Let's see. It's a little messy in here. I probably should have cleaned up. I was just like, I'm bored. Let's do a Q&A. See how people are doing. Oh man. What's wrong with the live chat? There he goes. YouTube's being buggy. Long time no see. It hasn't been that long, has it? Real quick, let me go ahead and pin this. Can a fresher get a DevOps role? I wouldn't be surprised. DevOps is an interesting role because it's one of those ones where very few people naturally go into DevOps. And part of the thought behind that is that it's a very specialized role. So if an organization is looking to expand their DevOps area, I bet they're willing to train their DevOps people as long as they have relevant skills or can pass the software engineering sort of role. So it's all possible. How likely? I don't know. I'm not a super big fan of DevOps, but I'm not a big fan of configuration, and a lot of that is just configuration and pounding your head against keyboards. Can DevOps earn 200K? Yeah. DevOps generally make a little bit more than developers. Not much. Like maybe 5 to 10% more. And if you go to a FAANG company, you can hit 200K as a second tier developer. So based off of what levels that FYI say, hey baby boy. But I mean, anywhere to make 200K, you're gonna have to go to a major tech company. So I'm working as a torchbearer for you. Oh my god, don't put all your hopes in me, man. Check these out. These are I start wearing these. These are my blue light glasses. Throwback, baby. How long has it been since I've had glasses on? The girlfriend wasn't a fan. Is this a eating and drinking ASMR channel? It is whatever you want it to be. But you have to look inwards for that. Is the Android native career a good path to take for the next 5+ years? I mean, there's always going to be mobile apps. You're probably better off doing iOS development, if we're to be honest. How should you go about preparing for full stack FAANG roles? Data structures, algorithms. I work at Amazon. Have I taken the vaccine? Yes. I got 2 doses of Pfizer. I know the cat is starting to integrate the dogs into our. We've been dating going on somewhere between 5 and 6 months at this point. And we're starting to integrate. Like normally we'd lock the dogs out in the middle of the night. Last night was the first night where we let the dogs stay in, but they couldn't sleep on the bed. And so after 5 or 6 times jumping up, they got the hint, and it worked out. So we're trying to do better at integrating the dogs in our lives, which is something I really appreciate about her. So he's a little needy because he didn't get all the attention. that he normally goes. What's the biggest impacts on your career? It doesn't have to be technical things. Really consistency. If you go back and you look at my LinkedIn, for instance, I have about 35 publications, a couple courses, all these sorts of things. And the only way you get into, 10, 20, 30, 40 different projects that you've done, even if it's just like one-offs, like guesting on a podcast and things like that, it's by making incremental improvements, um, and being able to show that. So it's I like to try and think that I'm one of the developers people like to hire because I bring something different to the table, something new. Like I'll give you an example of something that's happening. I'm speaking to there's this site called perseverenow.org. It's an organization that they teach prisoners and parolees to code. I'm guest speaking for them twice, next Friday and the Friday after, and might even do it more in the future. They reached out to me and I said, yeah, that's definitely something I'm interested in. I can do some good. Um, Little things like that where I'm moving forward and I'm helping the community, that consistency, um, is something great. Also, every year I have, from a more technical perspective, said to myself, I want to be a better developer than I was the previous year. This is actually probably the first year I haven't said that. That's because I'm focusing more on my love life, more on my mental health, and not to say like I don't think I'll be a better developer, but it hasn't been one of those items where that is the only thing that matters. I actually think I'm my skills increasing quite a bit because I'm surrounded by some brilliant people, um, who are willing to challenge me because I have very strong opinions on things. So, um, oh, dog hair. Dude, nobody tells you when you get long-haired dogs how much of their hair is gonna end up in your mouth. Yeah, I'm over here talking about health while having a Monster and a pack of Skittles at 9:30 in the morning, so we're not quite there. um, but you know, generally speaking, I think we're doing pretty good. We're heading in the right direction. Um, Today's a little bit of a cheat day. Habits like to share that I think really changed the game. Uh, well, it really depends when you're asking. In the beginning, it was that I coded every day, every single day, until I got a job. That was it. I was going to do it every day until I got a job. And that consistency, again, was super important. Um, Another thing was I started reading some of the books that were on higher level things like clean code and solid principles and testing. Those types of items where I'm in consistently improving. You'll meet a lot of engineers who could have 10 years experience, but all they really have done is repeat that first year 10 times. And I took an active approach to saying, okay, what are some higher level things I need to learn to get better? More advanced and a little bit more abstract. So both. So like, when you're starting out, all you're really trying to understand is how to make something work. Um, you know, and Yeah, some books. Yeah, let me go. I'll grab them so I can showcase them to you. But I believe I have links to most of these in the description. If you want to give me like 30 cents in affiliate money. Let's see here. Okay, so here are a few. Here they are. Do 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 do. All right. Here we go. Here are 5 books I would recommend everyone read at least once. In no particular order. The Clean Coder. This will teach you about how to act in the working world and how to actually be a professional software engineer. I think everyone should read this once in their career. Clean Code, a book about how to write code better, more professional. Really dive into the solid principles. Just a fantastic book that is one of the reasons I think I went from essentially a junior to a senior, in about a year and a half. So, Clean Architecture, a little bit more on the higher level. I plan to reread this. This hasn't been too practical for the front end, but a very good book. Code Complete, kind of outdated, super dry, but a lot of great information. And then The Pragmatic Programmer. I stopped reading this, was absolutely a fantastic book. I plan to jump back into it when I have a little bit more mental energy for programming. Honestly, a very good book. I just haven't finished it yet. So those are 5 I highly recommend reading. Looks like my headset's going to die. Book for CP. What's CP? Oh, by the way, guys, I am so for those of you who don't know, I do mentoring. Hence the link that's pinged up there, where I meet with my mentees for 30 minutes a week, and we do a one-on-one. So I did have some spots open up. If you're interested, go ahead, check it out. Unlimited messages. It's actually been competitive programming. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know anything about competitive programming. Honest to God, that just sounds like a good way to burn yourself out. Yeah, Clean Code is probably Clean Code and the Clean Coder. If you're only gonna read 2, those are the 2 to read, hands down. I don't know about Android or with Java. It's just not my area of expertise. I would imagine you probably want to know that. How can you get in there without competitive programming? I mean, you're still gonna have to know some data structures and algorithms. Doesn't mean you have to be a competitive programmer. What headphones I use? These are the what do they call these? SkillShare something or another. So I put a picture on my CV, but my picture is me speaking at a conference. Some people don't like that, but it shows, one, it shows authority in the space, and 2, it also shows that it makes it so I'm more visible in the sense of like my resume stands out more, and I'm a real person, which is what I want them to do. I want them to turn me down, not a piece of paper. The truth of the matter is, though, that at a certain point in your career, especially in software engineering, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I work on my resume, nowadays, but it's gonna matter. Your resume and stuff like that gonna matter more early on than it is later on. Um, you know. How did I get in to a FAANG company? I interviewed, studied for the interview, passed it. I don't have any good Python books just because I haven't done any of that. Also, I don't necessarily think books are the best way of going about things when trying to learn a programming language. I think they're better for principles and like design, patterns and things like that. How's my weekend going? Good, man. I spent last night with my lady. We watched there's a documentary on Netflix called "Don't Fuck with Cats," and it's basically about a serial killer who starts out by putting pictures of him murdering cats on the internet, and how a bunch of people in a Facebook group basically take him down. Well, I still recommend the book Simple Programmer. Yeah, it's a great introduction to a lot of things about the industry. How do you tackle online courses? I just build stuff nowadays. Was it based on true story? Oh yeah, it's a documentary. It's a limited series. It's like 3 hours long, 3 1-hour episodes. Um, yeah, it's really good. And what's crazy is I slightly remember this happening because this happened in like 2010, so it's not that old of a story. Which would have made me around 23. So I definitely remember this going on in the news because there's this phenomenon that was happening about it. Yeah, John. We watched the Night Stalker documentary the day before, actually. So, Kat and I just did the whole Marvel thing. We watched. That was like our series. Like, I wanted her. I introduced her. She had seen some Marvel, but never really fully got into it. So we watched all the Marvel movies, and we watched WandaVision and Falcon the Winter Soldier, and she's like, she's all about it. She's like, I like it. We're looking forward to watching Loki next month. But now that we did that, we're circling back to something more in her domain. So like the week before we watched Little Women. And then we said, okay, well, what about documentaries? So she likes like the darker ones. So we watched Night Stalker and then the Cats one. And then tonight is my documentary. So we're going down a documentary / basically, I think till Loki circles back, we're going to be doing a couple documentaries. So I'm going to have tonight. We're going to watch King of Kong, which isn't dark or anything, but like that's the one documentary I really like. So we'll see how she likes it, but I think she'll like it. Sea Spears, Sea Piracy is pretty good. What is that? Yeah, if you guys have any good on Netflix. All right, Sea Piracy. I'm writing it down. So you know I'm getting serious. Do I think Floyd Mayweather put a hit on his ex? I have no idea what you're talking about. Do I play games sometimes? Yeah. Not too much. I do have a couple games right here that I just bought, but I've only put like an hour between the two of them in. I like buy games, I don't play them. I'd like to get better about that. Doesn't your brain hurt after coding? I can't pay attention for more than 2 or 3 hours at most. Well, occasionally, but not really. You have to remember, man, I was doing 14-hour days of this back when I was trying to teach myself how to code. And the truth of the matter is that if you're making good career decisions and you're really trying to progress your career, you end up getting paid more money to do less in a more healthy and less stressful environment. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's a reason I don't work at startups. There's a reason I've only moved from smaller companies to bigger companies, and there's a reason I've went to sort of I went to a FAANG company, because the thing that's important about software engineering at a technical company versus a non-technical company is a non-technical company wants more features all the time. Go, 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 go. You know, like, and a tech company wants one feature that's good. And because it has to scale, it has to go to a million different people. So, do I get tired sometimes? Yeah, sure. But I mean, I trained for this. 14 hours a day on my own. It's much harder than anything I have to do now. How do I manage my time? Like spreadsheets or anything? The only thing I do, because I do the mentoring, hence the link in that's pinned up there. If you guys want to come get some one-on-one time, is I use a Calendly link so that people can set up times to book it, and I just look at my Google Calendar. I don't really need great time management, just because of my life. I have no kids. I work pretty much a 9 to 6 sort of thing, and I work from home, so I have a lot of flexibility in that aspect. Where if I need to go to the dentist, I go to the dentist, and maybe I'll ping my boss saying, "Hey, I'll be working a little late, or I'm going to be leaving a little early." Um, you know, and also I've cut things back a lot. Like I'm not doing the podcast. I don't really do YouTube anymore. Um, and so it's like I do one-off projects. So I look like Mark Zuckerberg. I've gotten that I look like Elon a little bit. So I look like a young Elon, the Doge Lord. So how is it when I was teaching myself for 14 hours a day? Oh my god, I was having so much caffeine. I was miserable. I'd be crying at the keyboard and keep going. I was also hungry. Um, I'd wake up thinking about the problem. There's a couple times I drove to work and I'd be like computing in my brain. I'd miss my exit and I'd be late to work. Uh, so do I think Dogecoin will hit $1 after SNL? Who knows, man. I wish everybody the best with it though. How long did it take me to land my first job? Well, I studied for about 7.5 months and I applied, and around 6 weeks later, I had a job in Florida. So about 9 months if I was to summarize it. 9 months of me dropping out of college, dedicating myself completely. It was a scary time, man. I have about $1,000 of Dogecoin, but only because I put in like $100 like a month ago. I'm pretty much just proficient in JavaScript and TypeScript. How did I divide my time? It really just depended on how stuck I got. If I got stuck on a project, I went into algorithms. If I got stuck on algorithms, I went to a YouTube video. I couldn't watch any more YouTube videos, I read a blog. The thing was to just to have, and 14 hours was on Saturday and Sunday. Monday through Friday, it was like 4 hours a day, after work. Sometimes a little bit before work. Um, so I really just try to keep it moving, and it helped keep it fun. Not to say that it was all fun. It was definitely a very stressful time. So, how much is my salary? I mean, I'll tell you. It's it's about 235. So, if you ask, I'll tell you. I don't know why people ask though. All this stuff is it's public information for the most part. If you go on levels.fyi if you want to see what people make. Do my eyes strain? No, man. I'm telling you, man. People people think I'm kidding when I say I had to reprogram my brain and body to do this job. The hardest thing I ever had to do was learn to code. My eyes would be red, they'd be tearing up, but like you'd keep going, and now it's not so bad. I bought these for the blue light just cause I figured I am getting older, and I eventually had to get my eyes lasered to help. I'm pretty sure programming made my vision worse. Um, so spend $10 on little things like blue light glasses, so they help. And like, who doesn't like a sexy nerd? Look how sexy I look all of a sudden. Ooh, let me get that. Sorry, taken. Um, don't even know I'm Superman now. What's this? Pair of glasses all of a sudden. Superman. Code reviews at work are like every other company. How often do I curse? I curse a lot. Um, but it's something I've been working on to articulate myself better. We went to a party at my girlfriend's grandparents' house, and like I may have had a little too much to drink, and like normally I'm pretty like professional and like not professional, but I'm pretty careful with my words. And then like I was hanging with my girlfriend's grandparents and her and like a couple of their friends. They're like, "Where's her sister?" And I was like, "She's probably pooping." She's and I saw Kat's eyes jump out of her head, and then she's like, "I think we're going to bed." Where'd I get that beanbag? Costco. Um, Everything's stressful to a degree. It's how you handle the stress and how much stress goes along with it. Stress is an internal thing. You have to remember. So, I currently work at Amazon Abhishek, if I pronounced that correctly. Yeah. So I do most of my shopping at Costco. I'm originally from California. I'm in Florida though. Remember when you said you were gonna get swole a year ago? Does your job prevent you from doing so? How many meetings do I have in a day? It all depends. No more than a typical job though. Get swole. I lost a bunch of weight, so I was around 200. I'm fluctuating between 165 and 170. That seems to be more about my natural weight. I do work out a little bit, but nothing super intense. Hey, baby girl. You wanna come here? You wanna come? You wanna come lay with your daddy? Come on. Oh, oh. Why did like do part? Hang out with the pups? What year in college did I drop out? Oh man. Probably around 2016. Well, it'd be about 5 years ago, so I was probably around 27, 28. What major was I pursuing? Computer science. You thick, girl. You thick. Do you procrastinate? I don't procrastinate anymore. Procrastination is for children. It's not for adults. Let me move this over here. I can barely see this. But yeah, I mean, I was a junior. Oh, you okay? Sorry, baby girl. She's like, you just gonna drop me like that? How hard is it to get promoted in a coding job? I don't know. It depends on the organization. Every org, when it comes to promotions, does a different thing. I'd probably tell you at a FAANG company, it's gonna be harder. So upset. She's like, Daddy, you dropped me. Why would you do that? Why did you drop out and still become a developer? I dropped out because I was sick of being poor and hungry. I just was stressed out. I hated college. It wasn't the path for me. It wasn't an easy decision, but I made a plan to go, and I still wanted to be a software engineer. But I was getting to a dark place in terms of my happiness, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So, so that's what I did. I still thought becoming a software engineer was the right path. I loved coding, but that's not what that's not what college is about. Yeah, everything has data structures and algorithms typically. How would you handle a stress of bug not being able to solve? Bring in a colleague, see if they have some insight. Gator, baby boy. Gator. What are my grades in college? Oh God, B's and C's. They weren't super great. Come here, buddy. Not you. You just got some attention. Baby boy. Wow, come here, baby boy. Oh, you so big. You thick, boy. I'm starting to support Azure support engineer jobs soon. I want to get a front end job though. We have a support engineer who's interested in doing something similar. I think it's a great way to get started. No, I won't refer anyone to Amazon. And I was actually working with him, and I told him the other day, like, hey, if he needs any suggestions, any mentoring, anything like that, I'm happy to do it. And that's one of the reasons I think that's a good place to get going. No, most of my we have a very diverse team. That's been that way at pretty much every org I've worked at. Your SDE one onsite coming up, tips? Well, generally speaking, just prep. Know your common questions. They're going to ask you about some of the Amazon principles. Be able to speak towards those. All the stuff the recruiter told you to prep for. Good books for low-level design. Clean Architecture would be a decent book. Do you ever panic about your expenses? And if so, do you keep level-headed? No, not really. I mean, I've always been good with my money. I've just never really had money until the last couple of years. So, I invest about 60 to 70% of my check at this point. So if I get to a point where I'm worried about my expenses, it just means I invest less, which I try not to do, but I'm also trying to live life a little bit more. I could probably, if I really wanted to, do something like 80% of my check and just have no life. So there is a point where this is kind of different than your question about panic about expenses. It's taken me a while to be okay spending money. Just because of, financial situations of the past. But also by having a nest egg, having some, money saved up, if something unfortunate happens in life, which it will eventually. Keep this in mind, guys. Like just because your life is going smooth now, doesn't mean it will be going smooth 5 years from now or a year from now. And making sure you're not living paycheck to paycheck is great for that. So, what I can tell you, Timothy, is that regardless of how much money you make, it's very easy to live beyond your means. So like, this is a free shirt. These are sweatpants from Costco. Will I go and buy nice things? Yeah, I went and bought a white suit jacket for this party that I'll wear a couple times. But the point I'm trying to make is that you need to handle your finances, invest, save, plan for the future, so you're not working every day. So every month, at the start of the month, I calculate my net income. I calculate my net worth rather. And the reason I do that is to keep on mental track of, am I on track to retire by X date, Y date? Am I investing properly, or did something happen this month that I need to reevaluate? And I make decisions based off that. Like, I had a cleaning lady that I was paying to come out here twice a month, and I canceled that because I thought that I basically hired her to do the floors, and I could do the floors and hire like a little Roomba and like do the counters. And it was not that she wasn't doing a great job, but it was just like, for a couple $100 a month, maybe I don't want to increase my life that way, but I can increase it another way. So I try and find things like that. But even when my first dev job, I made $62,000 a year, and I had about $500 in the bank account when I started that job. So, obviously in a different place financially. But then I did the same stuff I do now, just on a smaller scale, where I was saved to build up my my nest egg. Saved for a big expense. At that point, it was to go and get an apartment. Invested what I could. So you build up these habits, and as your income increases, your investments should proportionally increase. So, like, I spend more money today on myself than I ever have before, but on a percentage basis, I've increased in these other areas, and that allows me not to worry about expenses. Learning more every day. Good. Keep it up, Chris Cooper. So, what I can tell you is money's not going to make you happy. It'll take the boot off your neck, and that will. The only time money's ever made me happy was when I went from poverty in Los Angeles to my first dev job in Florida, where I had a lower cost of living. My income went up by about 50%. And that was when the boot sort of got off my neck and I felt like I could breathe. So that was the only time where money's had any impact on me, and not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. So I don't have any great resources for you to prepare for front-end system design, other than to tell you to check out Algo Expert System design stuff. If you went back in time, would you still be a developer or choose a different career? I think I'd be a fool not to choose being a developer. It's been something that's worked out very well for me. It's something I enjoy doing, and it's also a field in which there's still growth. If you take Amazon, for instance, I'm an L5. It goes all the way to L10. So, the next tier is either senior front-end engineer or manager. So there's a lot of room to grow still in the field I'm in. And even if I didn't, let's just say hypothetically, for the next 20 years of my working life, I stayed in the exact position I'm in. I never progressed. From a career standpoint, everything's great still. Would that be what I want? No. But I mean, if we're looking objectively at things, like, I make great money, I work at a fantastic company on a cool project, and I'm, as far as like in my field, some of the best places to work. I mean, there's a whole acronym dedicated to it. So it's like, from an objective standpoint, I'd be okay with it. And I think that in itself is like, okay, I made the right career decision for me. Because I don't know what you base off a successful career. I base it off of a few things. What type of income you can make. Are there going to be more jobs in the future? And are they hiring? So, have I ever been to Israel? No, I'd like to go. For a while, I knew a couple people there. I haven't stayed in touch, though, all that much. What projects do I have in my portfolio? You just go on my LinkedIn, check it out. Yeah, so Timothy, one of the great things about mentoring on a one-on-one basis is I have a lot of these conversations with engineers who are just starting to make their money. And uh so as much as I talk to them about progressing their career and job hopping, this and that, we have sat down and had not financial advisor discussions about what I did, what I'd recommend, the mistakes I made when it comes to finances. So if it's something you're interested in, the mentoring link is there. That's something we naturally lead to, because when I'm talking with my mentees and they're going from like I just had one guy who I've been doing it through this site for about 3 months, and I've had 4 people go and get between a 30 to 80% raise. So when you're in that range of going from a 30 to 80% raise, there's a lot of great things that can happen, and there's a lot of wasteful things that can happen. So anyhow, if you're interested, I do mentoring on all that sort of stuff. So, Excelams, what's going on, man? Clones aren't good projects. Clones are good ways to learn. That's my sentiment. Some people might disagree with that, though. Where's my portfolio? Google. Just Google Dylan Israel, and everything will come up that you're looking for. Did I code my own website? Yes. All right, real quick before I go, any other great documentaries on Netflix? Let's hear it, guys. I'm looking for a list of documentaries. Documentaries? Cobra Kai is not a documentary. I got Sea Piracy right here. It's on the paper. Come on, man. I'm trying to impress my girl. Help brother out. The WeWork doc on Hulu? I could get down with that. You won't ever eat fish again? All right, WeWork Hulu. So we have Sea Piracy, and then we have WeWork. I didn't know this was on Hulu. I definitely would have watched this. Wild Wild Country. Sasquatch. Hulu. Social Dilemma. Tiger King. I've seen Tiger King. Wild Wild Country. Okay. All right, I got 5 here. That should be good. All right, guys, it's been fun. Check out my mentoring if you're interested. Usually the spots fill up pretty quick, so I got about 3 or 4 left right now. But with all that being said, I wish you all the Vikram Yoga. I hear that guy's nuts. Let me write that down. But with all this shit, good luck. Hopefully you found some value and some of my insight, all that sort of jazz. Keep up the hard work. Bye, guys.